If you're trying to see how much a credit union or bank will give you before you actually join them, then this video is going to help you. Now, the first one, we're talking about PenFed, okay? So PenFed, now they done changed the game, okay? And it made it very easy, not only for you to join, but to see what you actually qualify for, okay? And so, like right now, their interest rate's starting at 7.99 on their personal loans. That's crazy because everybody else is hitting you with a 10, right? But you can actually check your rates without it actually affecting your credit. And their loans go up to $50,000. Now, here's another thing about it. Let me help you understand this about the loans. All right, they pull Experian on the loans, okay? Experian FICO 9. And I told you guys over and over again, anytime you find a credit union or bank that uses a FICO 9 scoring or a Vantage scoring system, those are going to be your easiest institutions to work with. That being said, please understand with PenFed, they're all about building a relationship as well. So even if you have like a bad credit score, I always tell people is if you have a bad credit score, then what you want to do, you want to nurture the relationship, garden the relationship, meaning that you want to open up the checking account and the savings account. Opening up those is only $5 each, okay? And then, especially if you have bad credit, and you make your weekly deposits, make weekly deposits into those accounts, $25, $50, $100. If you're able to do direct deposit, if you have bad credit, even better. But you definitely want to give it at least 90 days if you have bad credit. Now, if you have, I would say, at least a 660 or higher, again, I would still tell you to take caution, right? That being said, like I said, with this here personal loan going up to $50,000, you can actually apply for it before you even join. And once you actually see how much you actually qualify for, then at that point you can make the decision if you want to go ahead and join. Now, here's another thing about PenFed, and it's in reference to the credit cards, right? So what they did, they made it even easier for you to do a pre-approval on the credit cards. Now, if you're trying to get a loan with 0% interest for a long period of time, this is the credit card you want to get. It's the Visa Gold Card. Because as you can see here, 0% interest on balance transfer and purchases. Balance transfers as well as purchases for 15 months. So if you pre-qualify for this and they actually give this to you, this would even be better than the loan. All right. Now, in reference to the credit card, they usually pull Equifax on the credit cards, okay? Equifax FICO 9, all right? Now, one of the things that you need to understand, if you have a low FICO 9 score, then you need to add like your rental payments, utility payments, your subscription payments, and you can add authorized users. Now, with the authorized users, please keep in mind, do not add over 2 authorized users. Okay? Because when you add over 2 authorized users, then financial institutions look at it as if you're just padding the file. So you don't want to do that. You want to go up to the maximum of 2. Now, for those that don't have access to authorized users, click the link in the description, schedule a one-on-one consultation, and I'll tell you which is the best authorized users to add to your credit file to help you boost up your credit score. That being said, let's move over to the next one. That's NASA Federal Credit Union. Here's the thing about NASA, all right? So with NASA, they used to use their mortgage scores, okay? They used to use their mortgage scores in order to qualify for any type of funding, all right? But they switched over. They switched over to a Vantage 4 scoring. And like I said, the same as with the FICO 9 scoring, the mortgage score is just as well. The Vantage the Vantage 4 score is what you want to focus on. And as you can see, you can actually pre-qualify without it actually hurting your credit. And then you can see how much you qualify for, and you can decide if you want to go for it or not. But I'm giving you the easiest ones. Now, one thing I must add, with the credit unions as well as banks, one of the key things that a lot of people misunderstand about is their DTI, debt to income ratio. Usually with credit unions as well as banks, although they have a lot of flexibility, especially with the credit unions, if your debt to income ratio is over 55%, they may deny you. Now, one of the good things about PenFed, that if you have a 60% debt to income ratio, they still will work with you. So that's the awesome thing about PenFed. Now, here's another one. This is universal credit. Since we're talking about high debt to income ratio, then you want to go through an institution like this. This is a 4th tier institution. Your credit unions that I just mentioned, those are your 3-tier financial institutions. Your 4th tier financial institutions, they're real lenient when it comes to working with people with bad or challenging credit. That being said, universal credit, they work with people even if you have a 560 credit score, and if your debt to income ratio is 75%. Okay, so they are very flexible, and as you can see, their loans go anywhere from 1,000 up to 100,000, and it will not impact your credit score, so you can see what you qualify for. This is what I mean about making sure before you make that decision or getting that hard pull to get the money you need, seeing who actually will give you the money before you actually even making that decision. All right. Now, there's one other one, and that's Avant. Avant personal loans. It's another one of those lending institutions. The loans go from $2,000 up to $35,000. Credit scores, 580 credit score, and debt to income ratio is 70%. 70% debt to income ratio, they're working with you, okay? And again, you can actually apply for their personal loans without getting the hard pull on the credit as well. And they tell you how much you actually qualify for. They also offer the credit cards as well. So if you're rebuilding your credit, they even offer to see if you qualify. As you can see here, right? So they said fair or average credit score. So that means when it's fair, you're about a 580 credit score, right? So you can actually see if you pre-qualify without it hurting your credit. Now, one of the things about it, like I said, with Avant, with the credit cards, the good thing about it, you can actually get this your credit card even with bad credit, and it's an unsecured card as well to start rebuilding your credit also. All right. So if you guys are having any type of challenges with trying to find the right type of loan to go after as well as credit cards, then I hope that this video helped you.